Welcome back to my channel. I'm getting a little bit of a late start. I'm probably only going to get about an hour of writing in, but in my defense, I did yeah, in my defense, I did get a lot of work done earlier today. I just don't have any footage as proof to you guys. The only thing that you guys are going to see at the beginning of this video is me cleaning the litter box. That's all I did because I really needed to take a nap, and that nap kind of got it extended. And then there was something that I had to take care of before I forgot I had a very important email that I had to send out. So I had to take care of that. I haven't even edited yesterday's video, so I'm gonna have to do that tonight. But yeah, so the only thing I did was clean out Mr.'s litter box, so that he doesn't, well, one of the litter boxes, the main one that they use, because he is very vocal when it comes to his litter box. He's not vocal any other time, but when it comes to those litter boxes, if he feels like they are not clean, he's gonna find somewhere to use the bathroom in the apartment. In fact, as I was sitting down to start recording this video, he did just that. He went and he, like, yeah, we both, I looked at him and he looked at the spot that he peed in. He just peed somewhere on the carpet. So I have to buy all these cleaning supplies. I could do a thorough clean. You guys, I cleaned 2 litter boxes. One I caught on camera. The other one I just cleaned. The other one I cleaned afterwards, like literally right after it. He's probably peed in each of them once, either him or Miss Maxine. And then he just decides, you know what, it's not clean enough for me, woman. And he went and peed on the carpet. So I'm literally at a loss of what to do. I just don't understand at this point. So anybody got cats and got any tips? Is it seriously just the fact that he needs to be fixed? Someone let me know. But anyways, on to what is going on writing wise. Like I said, I did work today. I just don't have any video proof for you guys. I spent an hour at work this morning going through the chapter excuse me, the chapter outline. I feel like I sound sicker, and it could be because I have my fan on in my apartment. I sound a little stuffed up, but honestly, it's just hot for some reason. Like today was hot, and I like need the fan on. I need to get some congestion medicine because nothing else seems to be working. Besides the point. Excuse me. That's besides the point. Anyways, so I did that, and then I spent, because I'm working on this book 8, but I'm also working on something else that I'm not going to talk about in this video. I am keeping a record of that so that I can have something for you guys at a much, much later date. But I worked on that for the first half of my break, or a good portion of my break today. And then I finished up the chapter outline for this book, for book 8, and things went really well. And I was so excited to come home and immediately start writing. But then I was also very, very tired because I did all that work while I was on break, and I didn't take a nap. I wanted to try to take some sort of nap, and I couldn't get a nap in. And so when I came home, I said I was going to take a nap, and it was just going to be for about an hour. And it turned out to be like an hour, 15 minutes, something like that. And then some other stuff's happened. Like literally, it is 6:52 right now, you guys. So very, very short writing session day that I'm gonna have. But I just pulled up the document, and I'm gonna sit here and I'm going to work on this, and then I will come back and give you my closing, my closeout for this video. And like I said, very short today because I didn't get any documents. Sorry, of what happened. I would film at work. It's just where I'm at. There's other people around, and I try not to get people into my videos. I also try not to get my work logo in. I think I might have gotten my work logo in a time or two in this video, but I really do try to prevent it because I try to keep that life separate from this life. But that's besides the point. Also, real quick before I start writing, I was working on this, and I'm going through, and I'm like, I am ending with so many more chapters than the first one. I think the first draft ended with like 30, 31 chapters. This one is about 45, 46 chapters, something like that. And then I'm also thinking, like, is that too long? Like, it's a romance, and I know, people like the little fluff, but I'm like, this isn't fluffy. This isn't a rom com. This isn't something where you're gonna sit and you're gonna read it and be like, oh, that's so cute. Look at them little like interactions or their little forced proximity or best friends to lovers. This is not that. And I don't think I have any romances that are scheduled like that, but this is filled with, you know, angst. Like, this is what it's gonna be one of those books where you're going to read it and you're going to be like, oh, communicate, people. Why are you not communicating? Or it's going to be like, I really wish that this person would go away because they're aggravating me and I don't like them. Or, just the gasp and it's going to be one of those stories. And I'm like, is this, excuse me, is 40 some odd chapters too long? But honestly, I've never really followed industry standards. That's probably a problem on my end. But I did look up to see like average like length of what a romance would be, and based off of the chapters and how many words I'm trying to have per chapter, um, it seems I may be okay. It seems I may be okay. So we'll see. I did come up with a thing that, like I said, I can't really give too much away, but I came up with an, how do I word this? Oh, I don't know how to word this. So there is something that happens that my main character finds out about, but I kind of expanded upon that, and it kind of explains a little bit more about the other stuff that happens around it. Um, so I did that, and that kind of excited me when I came up with it. I still don't have what the overall, like, my main character's power is. Um, Gosh, I still don't have what my main character's power is. I'm just holding this Mountain Dew in my hand and haven't taken a drink. Um, yeah, so I still have to come up with that, but that doesn't, come into play until much till like the end of the book. So that's not something I really have to worry about right now. But I still have to do that. Um, I don't I don't feel like the ending is rushed, but I am worried that I don't have enough moments in it that makes you believe that these characters should be together. And that was one of the issues that I had with the very first romance that I ever wrote. When I had that first draft, I remember I had somebody mention to me, like, I they say they love each other, but why? I don't understand. I don't get it. It doesn't make any sense to me, that whole thing. So I'm trying to be mindful of that as I write this. And since they have so many obstacles keeping them apart, and then once they finally do come together, I need to remember that I had to make sure that the obstacles are out of the way and that they have significant time to like bond, and for the readers to bond, and for the readers to be like, oh yes, okay, it makes sense of them coming together. So I feel like that might be a little bit rushed. So I feel like we are going to end up with more than 44, 45 chapters as I expand upon that. Also, it's sometimes a little difficult because um this book takes over like the time frame of this book is very extended. It starts out with my main character's 22nd birthday, basically ends with his 25th birthday. So we have all these years that I have to account for. So I have to do a lot of time jumps in it, to be able to tell the story without making this super long or dragging this out into like multiple books for no reason, because it doesn't need that. That would just blow my mind if I had to do multiple books to explain the years time frame in this. So yeah, so that's still something that I got to figure out, but we're going to start writing, and hopefully, as I write it makes sense. I've already had feedback from the first draft, but because this draft is going to be slightly different than the first one, I am going to let it get more eyes on it again. as opposed to only doing one round of feedback and then just being like, okay, that's it. I like it. And let me put it out. I'm going to get eyes on it again. Excuse me. Yeah. So, gosh. So yeah, I'm going to sit here and I'm going to start writing now. Okay, so I am finished writing. It's 8 o'clock. I did two 25-minute sprints. Um, and that seemed to work doing sprints instead of trying to write straight through for the entire hour. I managed to get 1,476 words. I just checked it, 1,476 words written for the first chapter. And I really like where it's going. I did come across something that, well, something crossed my mind as I was writing it. Um, Basically, my main character, his dad sends him on a mission to find his mate before his 25th birthday. That's the main thing. That's not a spoiler. In this, I started with him being 22 and he goes on this search to find his mate by his 25th birthday. By his 23rd, he finds his mate. By his 24th, he's pulled back home. Like it's a whole thing. And as I mentioned in the last clip, excuse me, as I mentioned in the last clip, there's like these years like of a time gap, and I have to do time jumps and everything. But as I'm writing this, and as I'm thinking about his dad's motivation with sending him to, like, I know his dad's motivation. My readers who read it the first time know the dad's motivation for sending him to find his mate. So as I'm thinking about him being sent out to go find his mate, the question now in my mind comes, why is his dad giving him such a long time frame to find his mate? um I'm just going to put that out there. His dad is not a good person. Spoiler alert, his dad is not a good person. So his dad wanting him to go find his mate isn't because he wants his son to live happily ever after with his mate and or anything like that. There's other reasons behind it, which is revealed later in the book. But my question is to myself, why would his dad give him 3 years to find his mate? Why wouldn't his dad not approach him about finding his mate at a later date? Why his 22nd birthday? Why not his 23rd or his 24th? Why not 6 months before his 25th? You know what I mean? So I am, excuse me. I am thinking that I might end up changing the timeline. Um, so that way it doesn't, I'm gonna think about it some more. I'm gonna sleep on it, and some of the things that I have in it that happens during a certain amount of time. I'm gonna think about that and see how that works if I shorten the time frame um, for this character to be sent on a search to find his mate. But that's a question. And you guys tell me if I'm like, if I sound so off base with this question. I don't think I sound off base, but you guys let me know if I sound off base. You know, it's his dad has nefarious reasons of why he's sending him out to find his mate. He has ulterior motives, but why would he give him 3 years? It just, and at the time that I wrote it, and at the time that things happen, even with me sitting here and replotting it for the second time, and everything, and I still kept that time gap, it made sense. But as I started writing this, and we're in the first chapter, and his dad does make an appearance in the first chapter, the very first chapter, his dad makes an appearance because, as I said, we start with his birthday. The question that popped up in my head as I'm writing the entrance of his dad and what's going to happen, how that conversation is going to go, why would his dad give him 3 years to find his mate? Why wouldn't the time frame be shorter? So that's something for me to think about. It's always so interesting to me with writing, and you know, how you can, oh my God, I'm looking at my thing, and I think I think I had the dad entering a little early. So I'm gonna have to look at this and see how that fits. Because right now it seems like I might have the dad entering just a teensy, teensy bit early. So we'll figure we'll figure that out. And in the when I first started to redraft this, I think I put might a spicy scene in the first chapter. I'm not sure if I'm gonna keep it like that. It's not in this draft that I'm doing right now, but maybe that's why it was in there, because I'm looking at my chapter breakdown, and his dad actually isn't supposed to enter until chapter 2. So hmm yeah, I gotta see how I gotta figure out how this works. But anyways, yeah, so that's something for me to think. It's always so interesting when you think that you have something figured out, and this is probably one of the reasons why I've always been a little bit opposed to plotting as opposed to pantsing, because with pantsing the story just comes to you as you go, and you just write it and write whatever pops into your head. And I think I always felt like plotting felt like being confined to a box. Like I wrote down that this, and this is happening in this order, in this exact way. And now when I sit down to write it, I have to do it in that manner. And that's not really the case. Your plot can change when you sit down and plan everything, it can change. And that is something that is something that I am discovering with doing this, is that I don't have to feel so rigid and stick to the plot the way that I wrote it. It doesn't have to happen exactly the way I did it. For example, his dad, as I'm writing this, is entering at the end of chapter 1. So do I leave that, or do I keep it with the chapter breakdown I have and put his dad entering in chapter 2? Do you get what I'm saying, you guys? It can change. And I have to remind myself that your plot can change. What you sit down and plot out for your story does not have to be the end all be all with the story. It can change, and it can flow, and new things can arise the same way it does when you pants. I think I'm going to end up turning into a plotter. Oh my God, I'm gasping. Me? A pantser? Somebody who does not like being organized? As funny as that is, like I am organized in which order I write my books, what comes next, but in all other things, I'm like, I'm not organized. And then look at me sitting here having this revelation about plotting, a revelation I should have had back when I published this first book, my first book in 2014, because that book also was not plotted. More on that later. But yeah, so that's all I have, you guys. I'm not gonna sit here and ramble. I need to eat something. Um, also prepare myself to wind back down and go back to sleep. This is the bad thing about taking a nap so late in the day, is because I actually do still have to sleep, because today is only Wednesday and I still have to work Thursday morning. But yeah, so that's all I have for you guys. This is pretty interesting for me, this new take on plotting out a book. um yeah, so I will see you guys in tomorrow's video. If you are new here and you would like to follow along with my journey to becoming a full-time writer, go ahead and subscribe to my channel. I post every day. Right now that might change, but I'm trying to ease my feet back into the ponds of being on YouTube. So as of right now, I do post every day. So go ahead and follow along with my journey by subscribing to my channel. If you made it this far in the video and you enjoyed what you saw, give me a thumbs up and leave me a comment below. And I will see you guys in tomorrow's video. Bye.